everyone. I'm Kimberly Harrington, Director of Public Relations for Livingstone College, and I'm here today with Dr. Curtis Dean, our Director of our Evening and Weekend College, and a few student leaders as we dive in deeper to get to know the actor Brandon Micheal Hall. Yay!
Yay!
Brandon starred in the TV series God Friended Me, where he plays Miles Finer, an atheist who gets a friend request from God. How cool is that? And he ends up helping people based on the friend suggestions from God. The show has been referred to as Touched by an Angel for millennials. Now, I'm not sure the rest of you, but I, Dr. Dean, remember Touched by an Angel. I hope we're not aging ourselves here. He also starred in the TV series The Mayor. Brandon, of course, is here with us today at Livingstone College because he is our keynote speaker for our 2020 virtual fall convocation. So thank you so much, Brandon, for joining us today and for being here with us on WLJZ 107.1, our campus radio station, the voice of Blue Bear Nation. We'll take a few questions from students at the end, but first, let's dive in deeper. So, at the beginning of the semester, our 12th president, Dr. Jimmy R. Jenkins Sr., put out an appeal to faculty and staff for us to help secure celebrity guests to further engage our student population in light of the global pandemic. And Dr. Dean, you recommended Brandon as our keynote speaker for fall convocation. So start out by telling us, how did you two get acquainted?
Wow. Going back to what you said earlier in regards to the movies that he starred in, Brandy is multifaceted when it comes to that. There was one movie that was my favorite movie, Power. Him and Cedric the Entertainer starred in one last episode of Power. And of course, that movie is not the same now without Ghost and Tommy. But nonetheless, I got to know Brandon more than 4 years ago. I knew of him. At the time that I knew of him, he was in school at the time. But his mother and I, Betty Hall, who is a dynamic, mighty woman of God, who have done so great in raising her two talented kids, Brandon and Octavia. But I met Brandon maybe a couple of years ago during Thanksgiving. Betty invited me over. I think he was home from shooting from the sets up in Hollywood or what have you. And he actually turned me on to this thing, an ocular something thing you put on your eyes, and you think you're someplace else in space and shooting and fighting and boxing. And he said, try this on, just go on and do that. And I felt like I was boxing. This guy about hit me. I fell to the ground. But nonetheless, Brandon, he set me up on that one. It kind of took me by surprise. I'm almost on the floor. But nonetheless, since we connected, Brandon has been very instrumental in helping me in a lot of consulting work in terms of some writing that I'm doing, as well as he came to my house too. I think that same day I went to his house. They came to my house. He went up to my little studio, started laying out some tracks, and I was more impressed because I'm a music guru, So when he started, I'm saying, wow, this dude is too connected for me. But nonetheless, Brandon and I have been connected ever since, his mom kind of introduced us. And of course, I guess I'm a friend of the family now. And then even with his dogs, all the dogs greeted me when I come through the door and everything. They all part of the family as well. Brandon and I have been just connected since, and we have some different ideas and thoughts, but whenever I have a consultant thought that I need from him as it relates to my writing in terms of theater and movie, and I've always consulted with Brandon. But to me, he's like a friend and maybe like my secret godson or something like that I'm extremely proud of. And I think Hollywood's going to be really surprised in the future to come, because I see him beyond a Denzel Washington, because he's starting out so powerful. So that's pretty much how I met Brandon.
Brandon, I understand it was your dream originally to go into the music industry. So tell us, how did you get into acting?
No, it wasn't my dream to go into the music industry. I actually made a mixtape with my cousins around the age of like 14, 15, right before I went off to the governor's school. And that was just a way for me to learn how to express myself. You're 13 years old, 14, 15 years old, and you have so many things that you have to get out of yourself. I think one of the safest places to do it is over the microphone. Whether or not you make a hit, it's if you find a a creative way just to mentally express yourself. So we did that as a group. We were called the Yard Boys, which was pretty dope. And I got to perform with my cousins. And that was also a time when I realized that, like, oh, I like doing this. I like being in an ensemble of people. And so when I went off to the governor's school, that's when I realized that, like, oh, this was just one small little stepping stone to me understanding this new artistic world that I was walking into.
Got it. Now, you were raised in the church. Your mother is a minister. In your role as Miles Finer, you play an atheist. So how did you prepare mentally for that role, since it's in direct conflict with your spiritual beliefs?
That was challenging. And what I realized was that Miles Finer isn't in conflict with my spiritual beliefs. Miles Finer actually showed me the conflicts that I had within my own spiritual beliefs.
Oh.
To play someone that is completely opposite from what you believe in. I think as, natural human beings, we try to impose ourselves on other people. We try to impose our ideas, and we can see that with the election that's happening. We impose our fears, we impose all these different things. And I think the same case can happen in religion. And the beautiful thing about Miles was that he knew and understand the Bible as well. So he had a reason to want like that old saying, if you're scared, go to church. But remember, he knows the Bible too. So you have to understand both sides of the world. And I got an opportunity to humble myself and see what life is like if I didn't, mentally believe. What is it like to take matters into my own hands instead of giving it off to something or someone else? It was a weird struggle. I remember Joe Morton telling me that, his practice is to live in the now. And to live in the now is to take full responsibility of your actions. So those are the things that I learned with playing Miles. And I learned that, religion is education, like what, you guys are going into in Livingstone. Religion is the form of education, but spirituality is the practice, so I've become more practiced in my spiritual growth.
Right. Great advice from Joe Morton. Do you have a daily affirmation or a philosophy of life that you live by?
Oh, yeah. My daily affirmation is from this class that we took when I was in Juilliard. It's called the Alexander Technique. And the Alexander Technique is all based around the idea of undoing. That in life we do or overdo so much that we forget how much tension emotionally, physically that we're holding. Ballet dancers understand this because there is all about flow and movement through oppositions and thinking your thoughts and manifesting that through your body. And that's what Alexander Technique does. So my daily affirmation is allow my neck to be free, allow my head to move forward and up from the top of the spine, arms away, legs away, breath deep and widen it. Because the more I connect to my breath, the more I connect to the present. And that's what I do as I can every day, because holding tension is it's a habit.
It is, and some people don't realize they're holding tension and that stress takes over. So we could all use some of the Alexander Technique. What are you working on now? What's your current or next project?
Right now, I'm actually working on my own project. I took the opportunity to write and put together my own short piece that I'm going to pitch. I want to put it in the best of terms because we haven't fully did it yet. We're going to shoot it in 2 weeks, which I'm very excited about. But I wrote my first script with a friend of mine. We're going to shoot that thing, and it's going to be a gift to all of us by the time of December, something that we all did as a group together, as a group. So, yeah. That's what
great. We look forward to seeing that. Okay, so before we get to some of the student questions, I have what we call the quick five. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions that you should be able to answer off the top of your head. Okay, number 1, what's your favorite pastime?
My favorite pastime? Music.
Music. What's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning?
The first thing I do when I get up in the morning is stretch.
That's good. Do you do yoga?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. What's the most listened to song on your music streaming device?
The most listened to song on my music streaming device will probably be Jay-Z's Dead Presidents Part 2 from Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That entire track is just...
Yeah, it's hot.
Okay, do you prefer the beach or the mountains?
Beach. Oof.
And last question, how would you change the world?
How would I change the world? Education. Education. I think we got to start in education. That would be my first change to the world. Finance the arts, finance education, make it free for everyone, make it more accessible.
That's rich.
Super.
Brandon for president.
Yay!
These responsibilities. No, I'll be on the front lines with y'all. That's where I'll be.
I'd like to remind the audience you're listening to WLJZ FM 107.1, the voice of Blueberry Nation. We're here today with Brandon Micheal Hall, TV actor. And now we're going to take some questions from some of our student leaders who are on the Zoom call today. Do we have any questions?
I have a question. I'll let them go first.
Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning.
How was your background as far as growing up?
How was my background as far as growing up? Mm-hmm. I had a very great background. I had a good background. I think background I had was normal, what you can call struggles that now seem normal that people have to go through. My father wasn't in the household. I was in school and I felt as if, I couldn't fit in. I had those types of problems, nothing catastrophic. But I think the most influential thing that I realized in my lifestyle and growing up was my competitive spirit. Always had a competitive spirit, always had that mentality of like that Michael Jordan mentality that I can create the scenario in my head to make me do more. So that hustler mentality is what motivated me the most. But my lifestyle growing up I was blessed. My mom she worked very, very hard to supply for me and my sister. And if it wasn't for that, I definitely wouldn't be in the position I'm in now. That's just case point, period. And I also had a sister who was very strong and who paved the way for me of showing me what it's like to express themselves from their true, from the true selves, from their heart. My sister's an opera singer, so everything is big. Awesome. And when I went to the stage, that was one of the things that inspired me. I was like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it as well. So I had inspiration around me, and it's Black women who inspired me the most, so I was part of it.
Awesome.
Next question.
I'll go next. Hey, Brandon, this is Shaylin. What is the most challenging thing you face in the acting field?
Getting a job? No, for real. The most challenging thing that any actor faces is their own self-worth. This is a very competitive art form, and you want to see your friends succeed. You want to root for your friends, because if you don't get it, then you know that the role and that character is in good hands. But I think it's the unpredictability of this art form that is troubling or can be challenging, because you give so much as an artist, especially as an actor, using your entire full body and full expression of your reality, hoping that other people will relate to it and hoping that you can make a paycheck in the process. You know what I mean? So I've seen that struggle. I've been in that struggle. And funny enough, when I was in school, man, someone had told me, I'll never forget it because it was the worst advice I'd ever got. He said, 80% of an actor's job is hearing the word no. And 20% of the job is hearing the word maybe we'll call you back. And I was like, if that's your reality, then yeah, speak that into existence, you know. But I choose to have my 90% be my yes, and those 10% be those failures that I gotta work through. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the adversity, to realize that the glass is never half empty. It's never half full. There's always water around you. So imagine it. It's there. You know, water's here, air is here. So imagine it. That's my hardest challenge, is getting there. I've been pretty good at it, to be honest with you. I've been very successful at it, but I don't forget it. I don't forget the hard work that has to go into just giving you guys raw, honest truth.
Appreciate that.
Sure.
Yes, thank you. Next question.
My question is, I just wanted to know how is the environment or work environment right now with the pandemic going on, or just with everything that's going on right now, like the 2020?
Well, it's funny. I saw one of the soap operas. They had to do a kissing scene, and they used a mannequin and actually used it. I guess things are going as smoothly as ever. I don't really know. No, right? I don't really know. From what my friends have been telling me, because I haven't been on a quote unquote pandemic set, I guess. What my friends have told me is that, you know, there's just changes that you have to just respect the protocol. There's new rules that are in place. I know that it's doubling budgets, but people are able to do it. You know, people are doing it. They're still shooting. So work is still happening. But yeah.
Do we have any other questions for Brandon?
I have a question.
Yes.
Good morning, Brandon. My name is Charles White. I am the SGA Executive Vice President for the Student Government Association. And I guess it's pulling off of the last question that you just had. As a Black man, seeing everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter and Black lives being killed, how much does that go into decisions that you make during a film or when you're writing? How much does that play in the environment when you're writing or working on the film?
Well, first and foremost, I always come to represent, so.
Okay, Black Lives Matter.
It's our reality, you know. Why does Boys in the Hood stand up to this day? You know, why does Bamboozle stand up to this day? You know, why do Hollywood Shuffle stand up to this day? Because Black actors took an opportunity and took a risk to tell their reality from their own perspective, using their own people, using their own willpower. They did it themselves. And that's why I think that's why those types of films sold up. So when it comes to my work, I make it a conscious effort, you know, when I'm taking on roles, and you can look at the Rolodex of things I've done, from mayor to God Friended Me, even to, you know, LFE, medical pilot.
It said 80%
talk about social issues, to address them, to find a moment to make sure that I'm speaking up for the people who don't have a voice. That's my job. That's my job. That's what I have a platform for. I believe that any entrepreneur's job is to create lanes for people who don't have those lanes. And if I'm reaching 10 million people, you know, on a Sunday night, imagine what I can do if I just slip in one little message. You know what I mean? Imagine what you can do, who you can influence. So I always have a conscious awareness of that. And with the characters that I choose too, what are they talking about? You know, what is their emotional wound? What is something that, not just as a Black man, but a human being I can relate to, that other people will relate to, that will stand the test of time? It's the simplicity of life. Simplicities of life. Just like what we're asking in the streets right now, we're just asking for simple civil rights. We're not asking for like we going on reparations. We're going, we still want that. We want just dues. But
Right.
basic rights, that's all we're asking for. So that to me rings an inspiring bell of, if you just focus on the simplicity, you'll always have something to fight for. Simplicities of life. So yeah, that's what I focus on in my work.
So Miss Batten put her question in the chat. She says, when you grow older, what legacy do you see yourself leaving for others?
Long ways away from that.
When I grow old, what legacy do I want to leave for myself?
For others.
Jay-Z put it better, in 444 in legacy, I want to leave generational wealth, That doesn't make sense. He says it, what bump living rich and dying broke? That makes no sense. Yeah, I can't take it with me, but someone else can have it when I'm gone. Whether that's knowledge or whether that's, something you can actually touch. Well, digitally now, but that's what I want to leave behind, a roadmap of attaining generational wealth, a roadmap of obtaining financial freedom, a freedom of independence, of hope and understanding that we don't know everything. The ocean is still uncovered, so I don't go in the ocean. But we still don't know what everything is going on down there. We're already adventuring to Mars and finding out that there's water on the moon. We still have so many things that we have to discover, so we have to stay curious. And I want to leave that curiosity behind. And I think it first starts in independence, and it starts with education. So, yeah, that's what I want to leave behind. I want to leave behind the roadmap for generational independence and financial freedom.
Awesome.
Great. Okay, we have time for one more question, and then we need to prepare for fall convocation. Last question, anyone?
No, I'm sorry. If we don't have any questions, I just want to really say a big thank you to Mr. Brandon for coming out and just speaking to us. My mornings probably going to be and my days are probably going to be very long, and I'm going to think about the things you said on this Zoom call and kind of tap into some things so I can better my life after college. So I really appreciate you.
Oh man, just remember, I know you brought up something really, really interesting, right? You said better your life after college, man. Now, don't wait till after college. You have started bettering your life because you're in an institution. It's about what you use with it. You know what I mean? I can hear it. I can hear the aspiration and inspirement in your voice, bro. So continue to, motivate that mentally and manifest that through your work. But don't wait 4 years. Jeez, who knows what this country is going to be like in 4 years. Right. Now, millionaires are being made daily, even during a recession. So take that opportunity now, bro. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Brandon Micheal Hall, for joining us today. We are really so grateful for you being a part of our fall convocation. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Dr. Dean, for connecting us. And thank you to all of our student leaders for participating and sharing your questions with him. Thank you again from WLJZ 107.1. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.